Welcome to the Dogs Are the Best Friends podcast. I'm Emily, and my best buddy, Flynn, is here too. We are back with another episode for you that I truly believe you will enjoy. We have been busy getting together a bunch of different plans, and it just has kind of taken over life. We will be living out of a little travel trailer. I'm calling it a tiny home on the road, and I will get to see my birth family and my adoptive family, and so it's a very exciting time. So that's where we've been, trying to juggle all that. Today, you get to hear from an excellent storyteller. Now, I don't know if Ryan already had that going on or honed it or what, but wow, really good. Carson is an Akita mix who is now 3 years old, but was adopted at 7 months. I know that you will love hearing these stories because at the time of the interview, Ryan was up in Canada, staying with family up there. So you're going to hear about Snow and their van trip and their life, if you will, up from Texas to Canada. I think what I love most about Ryan's interview is the detail and humor shared with us that undeniably shows how loved and appreciated, or treasured, you could say, sweet Carson really is. The descriptions and the personification of Carson is so comical, and so is Ryan. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed getting to know Ryan since last June, and I hope you will go to watch the super helpful videos on Ryan's YouTube channel called Not That Ryan Reynolds. Of course, I'll have the links here in the show notes. Be sure to check it out, because if you're interested in just doing better videos, Ryan is amazing and really breaks things down. Without further delay, here is Ryan's interview.
Well, Carson is a rescue. He is an Akita German Shepherd Chow Sheltie cross. We did the wisdom panel, and so we found out, and yeah, which was super cool because I kept saying I thought he looked like an Akita, and everybody else kept saying I was wrong, and I was right after all. So he's like the sweetest, cutest, most wonderful thing. I've wanted a dog my whole adult life, and I finally got to have one, and he's just like the best thing ever. And he's been the best dog for a beginner. He's just good. Like, he's just so good. And he's just smart enough to where he wants to please you, but he's not mischievous.
Give me one word that describes your dog.
I'll give you something better, but we call him a baby angel. No, he's just chill. I don't know. He's just so good. There's so many words for him. He's willing, and he's loyal and perfect. How about perfect? Does perfect work for a word? Yeah.
Sure. Yes. That's so funny that you say perfect. That's really great that you're so crazy about him. That's so fun because, and I don't know about you. I'm sure you feel this way too. The more you get to know him, the more he blossoms and becomes himself, the more crazy in love with him you get to be,
100%. He has been a fine wine. I mean, seriously, every day I'm like, I didn't think I could love him more, but I do. One of his nicknames is the Boy of Joy. But it's everything from his cute little like white spot on his nose and his floppy ears to like just the faces that he makes. Like, he's got so many expressions. So when he's super sleepy, he looks like he's drunk and he's about to pass out. Like, he'll look at, like, he'll kind of, his face will be down and he'll be looking up with you with these like drunk eyes. But then he's got this face when he wants something, and it's just it would put Puss in Boots from Shrek to shame. And then he's loving this cold weather. So he's gotten super playful, and he bounces around, and he's a big boy. So like, he'll bounce around and he'll get the zoomies, and but he's I think one of the most wonderful things about him though is he doesn't just take treats. He wants to earn his treats. So if you give him a treat just out of the blue, he'll drop it. But if you make him, and he wants to do a real trick, like, just sitting is not enough. He wants to, like, do put him up, or he does bang bang, and then he'll take his treat. So it's the fact that he is so determined to please that is just so awesome. But
He
like
is.
he's like my dream dog. It's like I manifested him.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like you pretty much did. You brought it up a couple times, so you've got to
Mhm.
share these with us. What are his nicknames? Because it sounds like you have like a cajillion.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay. So I call him Pup a lot. So if we're just walking around and like I'm like, come on, Pup. We call him Boy of Joy, Mr. Carson, from Downton Abbey. I call him all sorts of weird stuff. Like if we're walking around, I'll be like, come on, Schmoop, or come on, Scooby, because he kind of looks a little bit like Scooby Doo, like not a ton, but I had a kid at Halloween be like, look, it's Scooby Doo. Oh, we call him Baby Bear, and he looks like a deer. So his his full name is like Carson Bambino Reynolds Carvalho. Carvalho is Jessica's last name. So yeah, he looks like a baby deer.
I
Actually,
love it.
on the drive up to Canada, we were at this we stayed in this park, like this city park, and it was in Spearfish, South Dakota. So it was like it was like a mini state park, but it was just gorgeous. And we got there after dark, and we went out to go try to find the bathroom, and we saw something moving in the dark, and Carson was like, oh, what's that? And he did his whole, and we shined the light, and it looked like a bunch of Carsons, and it was a bunch of deer.
And he's how big then? Is he like, how much does he weigh?
He's 70 pounds,
Oh, yeah,
but
he is
it's
a
like
big boy.
he is, but it's like he's got super, super long legs, and then he's just really muscular.
So he can curl
I
up.
don't
Can he
think
kind of
he,
curl up small then too with those long legs?
yeah,
I
he
bet.
can. And actually, what's funny is we're staying with Jessica's sister, and they have a cockapoo, and they had a kind of a larger bed for her, and Carson decided that he loved it, and it was like much, much smaller than his bed. So we went out and we got him a smaller bed,
Oh
and
my
he
gosh.
loves it. So yeah, he can curl up pretty small.
That's so funny. How's he doing with that dog, by the way? Are they okay? Do they
Oh
do
my
well?
God, they love each other.
Oh,
They
how
love each
sweet.
other. Yeah, we were concerned because she's pretty tiny. I mean, she's tinier than my cat, or
Wow. She is small.
but they play really well. It took
Okay.
him about a day and a half to figure out how to play with her, but
Sure.
now that he knows, they roll around on the floor, and he makes when he finds a dog that he just loves, he makes this Chewbacca noise when they're playing,
Oh
and
my
it's just been
gosh.
constant Chewbacca.
What other
Um,
silly things does he do?
so he loves to roll around in funny poses on his bed when he's lounging, and he does this thing where he'll lay on his back, and we call it Wonder Pup, and he'll actually do it on command now, where he will lay on his back and he'll stretch out his paws to you and like kind of give you like a high five with both paws, like while he's stretched out. um and yeah, he's just got such a personality. He really, really does. And
Oh,
when he's at the park, like he just bounces around, and he's loving the cold weather. Like he's just blossomed in the cold weather.
well,
Sorry, one last thing so
yeah.
when you come home, it doesn't matter if you've left for like 5 minutes or whatever. He's so excited to see you, and he does this helicopter thing with his tail, and he whines, and when he wants to be super charming, he slicks his ears back. Like his ears are very versatile. So his ears can be up, or one can be up and one can be down, or they can be down or they can be back. And so when he's trying to be super suave, he it's like his ears are like his hair. So it's like different hairstyles. And so like the one up, one down is like he's super cool. Like he's like the cool kid. He's got his hair swept to the side. But yeah, whenever he has it back, it's like he slicked his hair back and he's just being super suave.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Number one, you should be a comedian because the way you're portraying your dog is wonderful. Number two, being that you're like a first time adult owner, you're cracking me up because the way that you perceive him is so much like a person, and like the hair thing and everything. I love it. Well, because you just got into van life, I want to hear about that. How did he do? Because that's a huge change.
So yeah, he did beautifully. He really, really did. So the biggest change for him is the fact that the van, like the back windows of the van, do not roll down. So his favorite thing about riding in the car is having his head out the window. So he had to get used to that, but we got him a soft-sided collapsible crate, and we didn't make him stay in it, but he couldn't like he wanted to come up into the front seat area, so we made him stay back far enough so that if we had to make a quick stop, he'd be okay. Once he got used to the window, not having the windows, it took him a couple of days to stop panting. So for a while he would pant, and then we got him a fan for back there, and then the fan died. But I think the fan kind of helped him get through the anxiety, because after that it died, but he wasn't panting anymore. So I don't think he really needed it. But he'd spend half his time kind of like right behind us. So we, close enough to where we could kind of reach back and scratch him.
Sure.
And then the other half of the time, it just asleep.
Oh, wow.
So he'd just sleep. Yeah. And one thing that we did was every day on the trip, we found a dog park.
Good. That helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could burn out some of that energy.
Yes. And he had such a good time. I mean, he got to meet different dogs, and it was like the further north we got, the more hyper he got at the park. So like the more he'd run and, chase and wrestle and stuff. So he really, really likes the cold. He got to experience snow for the first time yesterday. So there was, when we got here, there was a little bit of snow left on the ground, but it was the kind that's kind of hard. And, he's like, okay, I don't care. It's cold. But we had a really good snowfall yesterday, and I took him to the park, and he was just crazy.
And how many days was that trip, like up to Canada? From Texas, right? Texas to Canada.
It was 5 days. We left on Monday morning, and we got there Friday evening.
Yeah, it's a drive. That's a serious drive for sure. And like, how many hours a day were you driving then?
We were originally going to do like 3 10-hour days, or maybe like 2 10-hour days and like a 6 or something.
Yeah.
But we added another day in, which was great, because that was the place where we saw the deer, and there were ducks and wild turkeys and stuff. And he got to splash around in a babbling brook. It was pretty cool. So it was like 10, and then it was 3 days of about 6 hours, but lots and lots of breaks, like probably 3 hours worth of break a day.
That's good for you and him. Let's face it. It's good to have a break.
One of my favorite things about Carson, like one of my favorite stories, is just like when we figured out that he liked water. So we took
play
him.
In it, you mean like to like splash around?
Yes. Okay. Oh my God, he loves water. He loves water. We went on a walk with him one time, and there was nobody around, and we took him off. He was off leash. He's actually quite good off leash.
Good.
And so since there was no one around, and there was plenty of space before he'd have to run for forever to get to the road. And so he kind of went ahead, and we hear a splash, and there was a pond up ahead, and it was actually a fountain. And so we had to run over and like get him out. We're like, Carson, get out of there. And then like not 10 minutes later, a security guard came and kicked us out. But he loves water. He loves it. He's a great swimmer.
So I remember you asking me if there was, with him, now what was the sound? I'm trying to remember what the sound, when he would make a certain
the smacking.
Sound. Yes, the smacking, the lip smacking that you like. Usually that's a nervous signal, but tell them about what your boy is, why he's doing that. It's so sweet.
So he does this thing. Number one, we smother this dog constantly. Like Jessica is always giving him kisses and like just all over him, and I am too. But he does this thing when either you give him a kiss or you get right up next to him and you go, Carson, you're such a good boy. He's so good. And he'll smack his lips, like and he does it like, it's almost like as a response. You'd be like, are you comfy? And be like, I love you so much. So I was talking to Emily about it. This is like a few weeks ago, because we'd read up on it and read that it was like an aggression thing or like an anxiety thing. And we're like, how can he be aggressive? He's like passed out. And so what she thinks, and what I love this, is that he's mimicking a kissing noise. And it's so cute. And it makes it even cuter now to think about it when he does it. And he usually does it with his demon eyes, like where he's super sleepy and you can see like only part of his eyes because the whites of his eyes are showing and they're up in his head. So yeah, it's super cute.
That is so fun. I love that he's like giving you kisses back. I think that's the sweetest thing. And you've had some challenges with him too, between like where you used to live and then getting ready for van life and everything, all the changes. You've been through a lot of changes in the last couple of months. So are you willing to share any of those with us and how you dealt with them? And
so honestly, he's been amazing with, like with the van, he was amazing. Our biggest challenge with him is that he feels like he needs to protect us, which is a blessing in one sense, because, we were getting gas in a not so nice area. And there was a guy that I'm sure the guy was fine, but he walked outside of the van and Carson immediately started barking at him. And the guy looked up, and if he had had any type of malicious intent, I think he would have thought twice. So it's wonderful. Like, I did want a dog that I felt like, I don't want him to jump in front of a bullet for me, kind of thing. Like, I'd probably end up jumping up in front of a bullet for him.
Absolutely.
But the kind of dog that, as a small person, being alone, that somebody might think twice about messing with me if I've got him with me. But on the other hand, he'll bark at people, and he gets kind of aggressive with men that try to walk up. And so what we've kind of learned is that if people ignore him, he will usually end up going up and initiating contact. But if we're at PetSmart, or if we, like when he met my uncle for the first time, my uncle came right up to him, and my uncle's kind of, I think he's a little bit old fashioned with dogs. And so it's one of those, like, like, I'm not afraid of you and that kind of thing. So I feel like, my uncle was great with him, but I feel like Carson's more used to being coddled, and that's not something that he does. So what we've kind of learned is that a couple of things. So with the vet and things like that, with daycare, if I hand the leash off to the person quickly, he realizes that, oh, you handed the leash off. Okay, I guess they're okay. I'll go with them. So that's good. Okay. And then if people ignore him, he's fine. He gets suspicious when people approach him. And then the other thing is, if I stand in between him and the person that he's barking at, then I feel like that shows him that he doesn't need to protect me. Right. Because, and that generally tends to stop, that de-escalates.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fascinating and that's the neat thing about being a dog owner. Like, if you just take some time and kind of observe your dog and figure out what they're doing and why they're doing it, you can easily work with it. Like you did, you stepped in between somebody, or you hand the leash off, you figured out what the signals are to him, that he gets that things are okay,
Yeah.
So,
it's not foolproof. The hardest thing is when we're at the store and somebody doesn't get the memo that don't come up and talk to my dog. Like I've always asked before I've pet somebody's dog. Absolutely. But still, it's almost like you almost really need to kind of ask from a further distance, or people that just come up and touch your dog.
Right.
I've gotten very protective of that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be wondering why I am stopping here with the interview. And the reason for this is because this is such an important topic. And I hope that you'll keep it in mind when you go to say hello to someone else's dog. Ask them for permission first, please. As dog owners, we get it. But there's a lot of people that love dogs that don't have dogs. And just for an example, oh my gosh, there was a child that came running up to Flynn. Flynn does not like little children, because one poked him in the eye and he had a huge bump for like a week after that. And the mother was busy talking to her friends. And then the little child had an even smaller child sister come up running after. And that one really didn't listen, because I tried to get both children to listen to me. So I literally had to stand in front of Flynn and put my hand out. It was kind of like saying, stop in the name of love, right? Because I love my dog and I didn't want anything to happen to those children. Please, parents, really be aware of your children around dogs, because they don't understand that it's a different species and they don't want to be petted all the time. There's some wonderful dogs, like my Maisie Lou used to love children, and I know some dogs in our neighborhood here that love children. But please, please, really be aware of what is going on. And my dear Crazy for the Canines parents, be aware also of how your dog feels about different people, and just really take control. There's nothing wrong with teaching people how to treat your dog. People need to understand what is acceptable, what isn't. And overall, we owe it to our dogs to make sure that they're comfortable and that people approach them in the appropriate way. So I just wanted to share that. I am very grateful that Ryan was honest about that. And I think it's something that, obviously I thought it was important enough to talk about. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends. You can find Ryan on YouTube, of course, and Instagram and Facebook. Ryan has a group actually on Facebook to help people with their YouTube videos. I send you love and light and hugs to you and your pup.